Welcome to a very special episode of Ask Us Anything. In today's episode, I'm going to be asking the questions and Sadie's going to be answering them. So, if you've been following us on Instagram, which you should be, so follow down here, and you follow Sadie on Instagram, you'll know that she's been away on a little holiday, well, 2-week holiday left, or 2.5-week holiday left.
Yeah, it was actually 2.5.
Work on her own, and she was staying in an all-inclusive resort in Mexico. But somehow, she's managed to stay in shape. So, you got proof actually that you have managed to stay in shape. Otherwise, the videos.
Well, right now.
No, I'm only joking. You don't have to lift up your top or anything like that. Don't worry. But what we did was we posted a video on our Instagram asking if anyone wants to know how Sadie managed to stay in shape, and that's what we're gonna do. So people said yes, so we're gonna do the video. So I'm gonna ask some questions, and Sadie, hopefully you can give some good answers and helpful tips in terms of how people can stay in shape on an all-inclusive holiday in Mexico or anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So tip number one, question number one. What did you do? How did you manage to kind of stay in shape? What was the number one thing that you did to help you kind of stay in shape?
I would say there's two number ones.
Okay, go on then.
First one, I would have.
The sun's out. Go on.
I would have to say it would be moving more.
Yeah.
So I don't mean training, which I did do, but aside from that, just in general, moving as much as I could in the day. Now, what I mean by this is improving and increasing my NEAT, which I don't know if a lot of you know about this, but it's your non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And that is basically calories we burn, but outside of training. So it's anything like fidgeting, getting up and down, basically just moving more. So tip number one, I actually tried to increase this so that my overall calorie burn in the day was more. Yeah.
So just got a lot more active than you would be here.
Basically, to put it simple, I tried to stay more active. Yeah.
All right. So what did you do to get more active?
So things like taking part in activities in the pool, which I don't normally do, but I made an effort to do more of these things. So I wasn't just laying around in the sun all day, and walking as much as I could. We did stay in actually a really big resort, and they had like little trolleys taking everyone around everywhere, and we made sure I did tried to make sure that we didn't use that, so we just walked everywhere.
I saw you in a couple of those
but
Snapchat.
In the heat in the day, I tried to walk as much as I could.
Okay, perfect. So aside from activity, what did you do then? So like increasing your activity levels and walking and being active in the pool, what kind of stuff did you do to stay in shape?
So with that as well, obviously I did train. I didn't train as many days as I would here. I did every other day, but what I did try and do is make sure that I trained first thing in the morning.
Quite a lot.
I think my dad and my sister were there too, so it helped motivate me. But what I tried to do is make sure I trained in the morning, and this kind of helped me set myself up for the day and actually put me in a good kind of mental state to make better choices throughout the day. So aside from obviously just consciously trying to move more, I did train, but made sure that I did it at a certain time of day because it helped me in terms of my decisions I made for the rest of the day.
Right. And so if you did train, what sort of stuff did you do? So like if people are going on holiday, like they can kind of like, what was the actual program? What was the plan? I know you can't give it every single thing.
So obviously I didn't want to spend as long as I would here in the gym. So what I did, I gave up myself half an hour, quick warm up, and I stuck to total body sessions. And I did more of like circuit sessions. So I made sure I did more compound exercises where you're working more muscles in one exercise, and had shorter rest so that it was quite intense. But the session only took about half an hour, so it didn't actually affect the rest of my day.
Okay. So as an example, what would you have done in a typical session like?
Okay, so aside from the warm-up, I did, for example, one of the sessions was, say, back squats. Then I had I'm trying to think now, so back squats, press-ups, and a core exercise. So I'd always do like a lower body and upper body and then a core, and then I'd do the same again. So a lower body, so say stiff leg deadlifts, then say a seated row, and then another core, and then I would do, say, a certain amount of sets of each, and that would take me roughly about half an hour.
All right, so it's pretty good workout. So it's, the way I got it, an upper body exercise, but that's a push exercise.
Yep.
They're paired with a lower body exercise
Yep.
that is either a push or a pull exercise, and then swap it round. So like with the core as well,
With
and then
the core,
swap it
yeah.
round. So you're doing if you did a push, you do a pull, and so on.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. That sounds good. So you mentioned nutrition, like
Yes.
training in the morning helped you kind of eat better throughout the day. Now you stayed in an all-inclusive resort. I saw the food you were eating. Didn't look that healthy. So how did you manage that? Like, what did you do to stay in shape? I normally tend to put on weight when I go on holiday. What did you do did you stay the same weight basically? Or, well, forget weight, but like just generally.
Generally I more or less, I wasn't as lean as when I first went, but my weight was exactly the same.
Okay.
So what I did mainly is, what I tried to do is, I know that my food choices at meals aren't going to be great.
Yeah.
And I know that those meals are going to be higher in calories. So what I actually did, which I do here, is I limited snacking. So I didn't actually snack between my main meals. And what this helped me do is keep my calories down. Because I know if I'm going to snack on ice creams, cakes, biscuits, and all of that throughout the day, as well as my higher calorie main meals, the calories are soon going to rank up.
Okay, so
I did make better food choices in terms of certain things. That I tried to keep my portions smaller, but I didn't not have my pancake at breakfast. I didn't maybe not have a dessert in the evening, but I did try and limit my snacking in between that period.
Okay, so you stuck to about 3 meals a day.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, so it's a good tip. I would definitely say that, like, if you eat snacks and stuff like that throughout the day here, a good way to reduce the intake on a holiday would be by reducing.
Because I knew that those 3 main meals would rank up a lot of calories in their own anyway.
And another thing I would add to that, then, like, if you're someone who already only eats 3 meals a day, like, you could potentially have a smaller breakfast, or even potentially skip breakfast, and kind of. That way you're limiting the amount of meals you have, or the amount of calories you have in the day, and doing damage control that way.
And just adding a point to there, I also try to save more calories for the meal that I would know that would be higher in calories. So I always knew my dinner, because I wanted a big dinner and a dessert, I would know that would be more calories. So I try and save more for that time of day, where I know I'm going to want to enjoy myself a little bit more.
And is there any meals that you kind of tried to stick to certain types of food, or you just ate what you wanted?
At lunch times, I tried to limit the carbs that I had, and I just tried to have a bit more protein than anything, because I knew that my breakfast, like, for me, I'd rather enjoy my breakfast and my dinner more than my lunch. So for me, I just tried to keep my portions a lot smaller at lunch and try and hold back on the fats and carbs as much as I could.
Right, so training wise, you trained and you did what you did, you kept active, and then nutrition, you tried to be a bit more mindful and then restrict the amount you were eating.
Yeah, and just make better choices with certain things.
Okay, anything else you did while you were away that helped you kind of stay in shape?
I'm trying to think now.
If there is nothing, you can end it there.
The one thing I did try and do is actually increase how much water I have.
Oh, okay.
So I do generally have quite a lot of water anyway. So for me, I normally have about 3 to 4 litres. So being away, obviously with the heat, having a lot more fatty and carby foods, I wanted to just increase this a little bit more. So I was having maybe 4 to 5, so I just increased that a little bit more.
Okay.
And one point I do want to make is I limited how much alcohol I had. Now, I know a lot of time people go on holiday and there is a lot of food and there's a lot of alcohol, especially in an all-inclusive resort. In my 2-week trip away, I only had 2 alcoholic drinks and everything else was water. Oh. Now, I know that's quite a big extreme, so I'm not saying that you guys have to do that, but I knew that alcohol for me is kind of empty calories. So what I mean by that is I'm ranking up calories and that doesn't satisfy me or fill me up.
Okay.
So rather than, again, wasting calories on alcohol, I try to just stick to water and increase the amount of water that I have as well.
So now, I know we'll probably get a few comments saying, oh, you're on holiday and, you know, why can't you do that and that? It's just fine. Like, do what you want. Yeah. So in terms of, like, what makes you happy. So if it is having a drink and eating more food and stuff, do that. Yeah. But if you do want to stay in shape, then do that. Like, focus on what you want, whether it's you fancy desserts on holiday. Like, try not to, remember, you can't have everything.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't have, like, the drink, the food, you know, the laziness and not chilling out completely and then expect to come back looking exactly as you did. So you have to make some sacrifice.
Yeah.
Whether it's with alcohol, whether it's with desserts, whether it's with food, whether it's some time in the morning where you go to the gym instead of laying in. Make a sacrifice and choose it, whether that's your body even. Yeah, so that's what I would kind of suggest, like I know we're gonna have some feedback saying, oh, you're on holiday, why can't you put on a bit of weight and do that?
That's fine, isn't it?
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
I think it's, at the end of the day, it's what you want to get out of it. And I knew that I wanted to go on holiday and not come back and feel so guilty and feel like I've started from scratch one again.
Yeah.
I may have came back and been a bit out of shape to what I was before, and training was definitely harder when I came back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I wanted to limit the amount of damage I made.
Yeah, it's a good point you made at the end there, like about, you know, like you have to come back. A lot of people are like, oh, like, but I'm going on holiday, I want to enjoy myself.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Have a brilliant time. Make sure you enjoy yourself. You're going away, like you might not be someone who goes away a lot. Go and enjoy yourself, have some fun, but just remember that you are coming back. So while you do want to have a great time on holiday and enjoy yourself, don't basically feel like, you know, come back and you have to be miserable now because
and you're starting again.
Yeah. So like, do what will make you feel good on holiday, but then remember you have to come back and make sure, like, you know, the stuff you do on holiday will make you feel good when you come back and not. All right. Well, hopefully the camera picked up what I was saying on the last bit, but the battery just cut out. So I was just basically saying, do what you enjoy.
Yes.
And remember, you have to come back from holiday as well. So make sure what you do on holiday leaves you ends up making you happy when you return as well. So putting on a little bit of weight and, you know, getting a bit out of shape is fine.
Yeah, exactly.
And getting really out of shape is fine as well if that's what you want to do. At the end of it, just do what you want and do what makes you happy. I actually don't have any more questions to ask you, but is there anything you wanted to say before?
No, I just hope that hopefully some of those tips you guys can take away with you and maybe try when you guys are next on holiday. Okay, so I think we will end the video there. That's been my main top tips for trying to stay in shape while on holiday. Would love to know if maybe any of you guys have some as well.
Yeah, so if you do, leave them in the comments. Otherwise, we will see you on the next video.
Bye.
Bye.